Hi, I'm Gail and welcome back to lowcarbrecipe.ideas.com. Today we're going to make a low-carb Sicilian meatloaf. It's quite tasty and I think you'll enjoy. We need to have variety when it comes to hamburger, and this is what we're going to make today. I have 2 pounds of lean ground beef, and I'm going to wear my rubber gloves here just so my hands don't get all mucked up. And we're going to add 2 eggs. Now I've got them beaten already, and I'm just going to put in a clove of crushed garlic, and I'm just going to beat it up a little bit. I just didn't want the garlic to get one chunk in the meatloaf, so I'm just kind of mixing it in the egg so that it breaks it up a little bit. So we'll put that in there. Clean it out a little bit. Okay, now we're going to add in a 1/4 cup of ketchup. Now the ketchup I'm using is Heinz reduced ketchup. You could put in a 1/2 cup of tomato juice. That's up to you what you want to do, but I find the ketchup has a little bit of nicer flavor, so I chose ketchup. And here is the bottle so you can see what I am using. And then we're going to add in a tablespoon of dry parsley and a teaspoon of herbamare. This is my favorite spice of all time, and I will show you what it is. It's organic. I think I got my thumb on the name of the person that produces it. So I really like that. It has a variety of spices in there. And then I've got a 1/2 teaspoon of dried oregano and 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. So we're just going to mix this all together. So now I've got myself a large piece of parchment paper, and we're going to put the hamburger on. And then I'm going to flatten it out to approximately a 12 by 10 rectangle. So I'll work at doing that. Okay, so I've got my rectangle here, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use 5 thin slices of ham. You can use more if you'd like, but that's the amount that I'm using. So I've got my ham laid out, and now I'm going to take a 1.5 cups of mozzarella cheese. You can use any kind of cheese you'd like, but I'm just going to sprinkle it on top of the ham. I actually like old cheddar cheese in this too, so you can try that if you want to have a little extra flavor. Okay, so now the big thing is rolling this, and when you've got your parchment paper, that really helps. So we're going to just take our time, and we're going to try and roll this. So the parchment paper really helps when you're doing the roll. And just lift it up and roll it over a little bit more. There we go. And I see I'm throwing a little bit of cheese around, so try and not do what I'm doing. Beautiful. Now what we're going to do on the edges is we're going to try and squeeze them down because we don't want any of the cheese coming out. So you're just going to kind of seal the edges here. And then when we put it into our ovenware dish, we'll put the seam down. So what I've done is I've tried to roll it close to the edge, and I have my seam up top, and we want the seam to be on the bottom. So I'm going to pick it all up. It's a little slippery with my gloves on. Okay, and now we're going to flip it over, and there is our Sicilian meatloaf. So we're going to put it in the oven. In the oven for approximately an hour and a quarter at 350. And then when we've got it baked through, then we'll add a little bit of mozzarella cheese on top to let it melt. I've had it in the oven for an hour and 15 minutes, and it looks like some of my cheese snuck out of the loaf, the roll. So I'm just going to put some cheese on top, and I'm going to put it back in the oven for about 5 minutes just so that it can melt, and then we're going to be ready to serve. So here is my low-carb Sicilian meat roll. Now, one thing I didn't explain, which I should have, when you're putting the ham onto the rectangle ground beef, bring it in about 3/4 of an inch, so when you are rolling it, you have it rolled, then you can press the edges down and that seals it, and that'll seal the seams. That way your cheese stays in. Some of my cheese got away on me, but it's still delicious. I love this recipe. Great flavor, and it gives you a chance to have something different with ground beef, because sometimes you get tired of just plain old ground beef. Go to lowcarbrecipe.com, try this recipe and try some of my others. It's delicious. Take care. See you in the next video, guys. Bye now.